quite surprised more parents don't understand how extremely damaging screens are, social media is, all of it is for kids. We've got a news clip today of experts just sounding the alarm, raising awareness of like we have got to change this ASAP. I've known this for. I mean, we all know how bad it is for us, let alone kids. And it's funny to me too when, and I'm not here to mom shame. I'm a first time mom. There's plenty of things that I've stuck to my guns with already, and some things that I've loosened up with. Right? I'm not here to mom shame. I'm here to share some important information that I thought we all were kind of aware of, but apparently we're not, because I still go out plenty of times and I see the littlest of kids just glued to these tablets or their parents' phones and watching crap that's just terrible for the. Okay, all right. I'm gonna press play, but really quickly, if you're new to me, I'm Jennifer Cicero. I share my opinion. It tends to be pretty unpopular on just about everything that is degrading our glorious society that we live in today. Health, politics, kids and screens, you name it, I'm talking about it. So if you're curious to hear what I have to say, give me a subscribe. You can always unsubscribe later and give this video a thumbs up. Let's get into it.
Screen time threatening your child's brain development. A panel of expert witnesses sounding the alarm during a Senate hearing yesterday.
You try to take the iPad away, and the kids resemble withdrawal symptoms. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Ms. Shurkin?
Yes, these are health-harming products. They trigger reactions in people that are, and especially in children, that are unsafe. And I believe that it is in the best interest of all children to limit their access.
Do you believe social media platforms like YouTube and TikTok knowingly design addictive features targeting kids?
I do. That's their business model. The more time people spend on it, the more money they make.
Lawmakers from both parties have proposed legislation to try to reduce children's use of social media. But in the meantime, experts are.
Good. We can actually agree on something for once. Both parties come to the conclusion this is rotting our children's brains. Okay, good.
Also advising parents to wait as long as they can before letting their children create accounts. And on that topic of screen time, nearly 5 million teenage social media accounts have been deactivated or removed from platforms 1 month after Australia's ban on social media for teens took effect.
Yeah, this landmark law down under bars any teen under 16 from having an account on any social media platform. But teens, as you might have.
And of course, kids are always going to find a way around it. And kids who have their parents wrapped around their fingers are going to have their parents make accounts for them, right? But at least they're trying. At least they're trying to protect these kids. At least they're putting a really firm, solid law in place. No, 16 and under, it's not happening. Sorry. I don't know logistically how they're going about this, but I think it's a great thing. We need to do something like that. We need to do something like that over here, because we've got two issues. We've got social media, that's one issue in and of itself, and then we've got just the screen time in general. Like you might not have a kid who's on social media, you might not be worried about that, but if they're glued to their iPad watching CoComelon all day, watching, I mean, half of these kids shows, they're like crack to these kids. I watched a video of baby had to be a little over 1, little baby having what is like an addict going through withdrawal symptoms when they weren't allowed to watch CoComelon anymore. That's crazy. I mean, number one, okay, I get it. Especially if you're in a household where both parents work, you got multiple kids. It's tough, right? But think about how it was back in the day. They didn't have cop-outs like, here's a tablet, here's my phone, here's the TV. No, they had to figure out something to give their kids to entertain themselves, or let the kids be bored. Let them be bored. That's how they learn. That's how they create new neural pathways and just understand how everything about our reality works. You don't need to just sit and watch a screen all day. And trust me, I get it. I'm a first-time mom to a 6-month-old. And at least when he's with me, he does not look at a screen at all. No screens. If I've got to do some sort of work or something, I wait till he goes to bed. My phone, I may like sneak a little peek on the slide, but he does hardly sees me actually staring and looking at my phone. Majority of times, if he sees that, I'm like answering a call or I'm putting on some kid songs for him to listen to. That's it. I'm not putting on the TV for him. Nothing. Now, when he's with his dad, sometimes he sees a little TV with his dad, primarily a football game. But he's not watching any of these crack addicted types of kid shows they make these days. And they've done examples side by side of how fast the slides or the shots go from kid shows now versus, I want to say, 30 years ago or more. Huge difference. Now they're turning out different images, different slides, 2 seconds. I think they call it low stimulation. That's what I'm here for. I'm here for the low stimulation stuff for my kid. And on the social media side of things, no. We've talked about no social media, no cell phone. What are we, boomers? But we know, if you know enough to know how bad something is for you or your kid, why shouldn't that be? I think that should be enough for you, honestly. But let's see how it's going in Australia.
Imagine having mixed reactions to this change. Here with a closer look is family therapist and author of Raising Healthy Teenagers, Tom Kersing. And Tom, before we get to the reactions from the teens, psychologically speaking, is it possible to see results, positive or the withdrawal that you heard those lawmakers talking about? Is it possible to see these results 1 month in?
No doubt about it. Back in the spring, I did some lectures locally in the area, and one of the schools had banned phones during the school day. They had these pouches, right? And I was there 2 days after the ban, and I had teachers coming up to me and telling me that they've seen already changes in kids. One kid that was quiet in the classroom is raising her hand. There's interaction going on in the cafeteria. There's loudness in the hallways. Schools that have already been doing this for the past year, and I've spoken to representatives at some schools, test scores are up.
Yes.
Mental health episodes during a school day are down. Infractions are down. So it's a plus. I'm all for it.
Is there any downside?
Great.
I don't see any downside. I've been talking about this stuff.
What's the downside? I mean, we've seen the negative effects of social media on teenagers, especially young girls. You're at school to learn, but you're also at school to be social, right? The loudness is back. Are you telling me those hallways used to be quiet because everyone's on their phones? It's so sad. I remember when I was in high school, we couldn't have our phones. You could not have your phone out. Not in the hall during passing periods. Definitely not in your class. We didn't have off-campus lunches, so not in the lunchroom. No. Now, did you try to hide it a little bit? Yeah, of course you did. But most of us, we pretty much followed the rules, right? You might have snuck a little text here and there, but we followed the rules. Not like kids now who know that they can get away with anything, so you tell them no, they're doing it anyways because they get sent to the principal, and the principal sends them right back to your classroom. Nothing's going to happen. So I'm glad to see. I don't know why schools haven't kept that in place. That's crazy.
For 17 years, I don't see any downside in terms of family, right? So families now, when you look at in the encyclopedia, and it sounds like the Brady Bunch, it's more like 4 individuals living under the same roof that don't talk to each other. So we're going to start seeing that too, like the family system
The
start
family
to reunite.
unit comes closer together.
I mentioned the mixed reactions. Let's go through some of them. This is what Australian teens said when they were asked about it. Jack told the Times, "I was quite frankly annoyed when I opened my phone, went on Instagram to check what's happening, and it just said, I'm logged out. I'm old enough to know what's happening in the world, but the government is treating us like children." Reminder, he is 15 years old. 14-year-old Rave tells the New York Times it's undoubtedly done nothing, from my view. And a 14-year-old named Amy tells the BBC, "I often used to call my friends on Snapchat after school, but because I'm no longer able to, I went for a run." Taking that all in, what are your professional therapist takeaways when you hear those statements?
I want more kids running. I want more kids
Yes.
running. That's another thing. I mean, it creates a sedentary environment for these kids. We have an overweight obesity epidemic among kids. You can't even ride a bike anymore. Even the bikes are electric now. So this is going to get kids outdoors. It's going to get kids together. It's going to create interaction. It's going to stimulate brain development. And being outside is what does that. So socially, educationally, family, win, win, win.
The major opposition from adults to this is that this is simply government overreach. What would you say to somebody who feels that way?
I agree. I'm not a big fan of government overreach, right? But we're talking about our children. We're talking about an entire generation. We're talking about a mental health epidemic, a social epidemic, a family epidemic, an obesity epidemic. Something has to be done.
Short of brute force, which growing up in an Italian family in northern New Jersey I am accustomed to, how should parents here in the United States sell a preemptive ban before the United States actually does a law like this to their own children? Like, how should the parents say, like, look, we're doing this, kids, because it's going to help you?
Yeah, well, I think the rest of the world is looking. And, the United States may be on board with this depending on what happens in Australia. And I'm going to predict it's going to be nothing but positive, good things. So have a conversation with your kids. Just say, look, this is going down. It's going to happen at some point. Get used to it. Number one thing I tell parents when I'm lecturing, phone can't be in the bedroom at night with the kids. Bottom line, sleep deprivation.
Yeah,
problem.
100%.
That's number one. Get that thing out of the bedroom. Now we get it out of the schools. We get the social media out of their lives. And we get our kids out of the cyber world and back into the real world.
You think your kids...
And a lot of these kids would agree that the social media is harmful to them. They would attest to some sort of bullying or somebody sharing an inappropriate photo of them or spreading a lie or them spending too much time on it. They know, they're just addicted, just like us adults are, right? Dopamine hit after dopamine hit after dopamine hit. We got to do better for them. We got to do better. I think the hard part for a lot of parents is a lot of parents don't discipline at all. Especially if it's a single parent household. So to do something as detrimental as take away their phones, even if it's just taking away the phone out of their bedroom for the night. Oh my God, the horror, how horrific. Think about the teenage tantrum you're gonna get, right? But it just we gotta get them off. Even back in my day, we had MySpace and Zynga and LiveJournal and at least for me personally, AIM. We had AIM, of course. Everybody, you're listening to that AOL dial-up sound right now. I know it. The nostalgia is coming back. But I was a latchkey kid and I grew up on computers and I was on all of that stuff a lot. And for myself and a lot of my friends, I can't say anything really positive came of it for us, right? So being at my friend's house, going to the park, whatever, we were all just talking to each other online and creating drama and feeling insecure, and none of it was really good for any of us, right?
In bed by 10 p.m. They're really in bed by 2 a.m. if they have their cell phones in their rooms. That is a hard pass for me. That's great.
Yeah, that's a hard no. I heard a parent say one time, I thought, oh, that's great. That's really great. He said to his kid, that's not your cell phone. That's my cell phone. And I let you borrow it. So that right there, put your foot in the ground, parents. Take back control.
Advice. Tom, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
We
you. Always a
appreciate it.
pleasure.
All right. Tell me in the comments below. Are you as addicted to social media and screens as some of these kids are? And I think that's the problem as well for a lot of parents is your kids are imitating your behavior. So if they know you're on Instagram scrolling till 2 a.m, they always see you on your phones, you have family dinners where everybody's on their games and their tablets and this and this and this, they're not going to want to listen to you, of course, because you have to lead by example, which means you're going to have to deal with your own addictive behavior. And I know we all know it. How many times have you laid in bed at night? Just one more scroll. Just let me watch one more video. Let me just send one more message, right? And you know you got to get up in like 4 hours and you're exhausted, but now you're wired because you just sent all this energy and all these hits to your brain, right? It's not good. It's terrible. And kids are still developing. We got to care more about them. So yeah, tell me below. Are you addicted? Be honest. How bad is it? And are you concerned about our kids? Do you have kids? Does it matter to you? Let me know. And don't forget to hit subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Give this video a thumbs up. Don't be afraid to buy your girl a coffee. And I will see you on the next one. Bye.